And then right now it is telling me that I am live. So one thing that you can do is you can test your audio sync right here on this, or you can also test your audio sync by actually opening up your channel page and going to the specific URL of your stream, which would be whatever your channel is /live. Then once your stream is over, all you have to do is go back into OBS and you hit stop streaming. And then from there, YouTube will close everything else down and then you are taken care of and your first stream is complete. This video
getting a new winner, getting a repeat winner, whatever it is. You know, LGD playing in front of their home crowd in the grand finals, that would be the most insane experience as well.
I'm going to give you something, and you can tell me whether you disagree with this. Now, one of my favorite players is FY. He's a support player. He's a god. He was one of the guys that kind of enthused me early on about Dota 2. To see him lose another final is something I can't even bear. Like, he's lost 2 grand finals already. I can't bear to see him lose 3. So I either want him to lose first or get to the grand final and win.
You know, he can't bear it either. No. When he was asked about this, he said that, you know, how are you going to do it, TI and everything? He said, you know, it's all good, just not second.
No.
Just don't give me second.
No.
Again. He doesn't want to be so close to the ages and fall just a little short. Again.
3 times. 3 times.
That would just be terrible.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully he's able to make it all the way through. I know the crowd is going to be backing him hardcore, and I personally, I do kind of want to see how nuts the crowd would go if LGD wins in Shanghai.
I think
that would be an incredible atmosphere by itself.
Yeah, we might be deafened, that's for sure. The team that we haven't spoken about, because obviously they're not playing in this first game, is OG. They're just waiting backstage, they're chilling, they're waiting for see who they play. If they play PSG, they've got it in their heads they can beat them. They've done it before, they did it last year. It's liquid though. Does that make it harder for OG?
I feel it does a little bit. They've kind of had their number. Like Liquid, I mean, we talked about Liquid, EG and Secret had their number, but they overcame it. Meanwhile, OG and Liquid's kind of at OG's number, and I feel like going in as Kuroki won't let that. Like he's like, I'm not going to get reversed on by that. And I think you are a little bit more afraid of Liquid at this point, because you've seen they're just a freight train cruising on through that lower bracket.
Simultaneously, there's a lot of respect between those two squads. Obviously, there are a lot of friendship between them. I think one of the more interesting, everybody talks about Kuro Puppy, but I think Kuro and No Tail is a really interesting story between the two, and both of them having to overcome, you know, certain adversities and be able to put together these young squads and truly lead these teams to be able to go through the international. And it really goes to show how important the captains are to Dota 2. If you ever want to talk about the greatest players of all time, I think this TI really cements it. You can't have that conversation without the captains. The captains are pretty much everything.
4 of the 5 original Team Secret are all TI winners, and all captains, Something about that team, wasn't it?
It really is. They were here from the beginning, and they just slowly grew up through Dota together, and you decide, like, wait, I want to do it myself, my legacy. Maybe I don't want it paired with someone else. It really is. They were here from the beginning, and they just slowly grew up through Dota together.
But you also mentioned
decide, like, wait, I want to do it myself, my legacy.
Maybe I don't want it paired with someone else. That's why it's so brilliant. We need to have that. Somebody alluded to that. Somebody controlling of what say. But you also mentioned that maybe I don't want it. There is points to this. Somebody else to it. We need to have that. Somebody alluded to that. Controlling of what say. But you also mentioned that maybe I don't want it. Maybe I don't want it. Somebody else to it. Somebody alluded to that. Controlling of what say. But you also mentioned that
and those voices change.
There's
the 3 years. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
3 to 5.
3 to 5.
3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Which would make him one of the oldest Dota 2 pros. I don't want to get into the whole, when
3
you're too
years?
old to play, because I don't think you're ever
Yeah.
3 to 5.
Dota.
3
to 5.
Even
at the
highest
level.
Which
would make him one of the oldest Dota 2 pros. I don't want to get into the whole,
on
when you're too old to play, because I don't think you're ever
Three to five.
I looked at Kyle sent me, and we both went make him one of the oldest Dota 2 pros. I feel like I went up in the air 2 years ago, never came back. When you're too old to play, because I don't think you're ever I looked at Kyle sent me, and we both went make him one of the oldest. I feel like I went up in the air 2 years ago, never came back. When you're too old to play, because I don't think you're ever I looked at Kyle sent me, and we both went probably more so. I feel like I went up in the air 2 years ago, never came back. When you're too old to play, because I don't think you're ever
like I know what you think first guy.
Is my friend bothering you? Ready?
Yeah.
It's a real dance now.
I'm
Ending
good.
part.
I'm good on the dancing.
Is my friend bothering you? Ready?
Yeah.
Nina?
Wabuho! Nene!
What?
Wabuho!
I just did.
Whoa, hen ho! Nene!
What?
Wabuho!
I just did.
Yep, so we
and
learned some good
oh,
languages,
man.
and I gotta tell you,
What?
you don't know this, but the international really
I
is
just
an
did.
international broadcast. Over 30
Yep, so
and
we
learned
learned
some
some
languages,
languages
and
are
I
served
gotta
at this
tell you,
one
event.
and you're only gonna get that with
Wow.
the international really
Everybody
is
loves
an
all
international broadcast. Over 30
Yep, so
and learned some languages,
languages
and
are
I
served
gotta
at this
tell you,
one event.
and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast. Over 30 and learned some languages, and I gotta tell you, and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast.
Real traditional
Yep,
songs
and learned some languages, and I
Alright,
gotta
so
tell you, and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast.
Real traditional
Yep,
songs
and learned some languages, and I
Alright,
gotta
so
tell you, and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast.
Real traditional
Yep,
songs
and learned some languages, and I
Alright, so
gotta tell you, and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast.
Real traditional
Yep,
songs
and learned some languages, and I gotta tell you, and you're only gonna get that with the international really is an international broadcast.
Real traditional
Yep,
songs
and learned some
Wow. Perfect form.
See, you've caught us at a weird point, right? Because you know when you're on camera, yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're doing over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
we're
time?
we're just enjoying ourselves. Rich is doing splits and dances and all crazy.
And
That's
I
what
gotta
we
hang
do.
out with this asshole?
Yeah, yeah, and you get him.
Yeah. Are you going to do the splits next, Paul?
I can do the splits.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Oh my
Jake,
God.
Jake, 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 Jake,
Jake, Jake.
Yay!
All right, now do the worm. Do the worm.
My turn.
Oh, wait, no, that's a leather dress. Don't do it.
Oh my God.
Look at his leg. How is that possible?
Are you
She's
okay?
got me.
Good?
Oh. It's the death dive.
Incredible.
Guys, get off our set.
All right,
Rich is
sorry.
my man. You're spoiling things.
Wait,
over here.
I've always wanted to do this. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Back to you, Paul.
Amazing throw. Jake, thank you so much.
We're blessed.
It's crazy. We are blessed, aren't we? I love those guys. I really do. It was. I have to tell you this story from yesterday. I had dinner with Slacks last night, and you may have heard yesterday he was a bit croaky. Right? He had a bit of a sore throat. He's feeling a bit unwell, and I wasn't. You know, look at this. Oh my goodness.
God damn.
That's unbelievable, Casey. How do your bones bend that way? I don't. That's incredible. Thank you for the replay. Yeah. So we're having dinner, and he's literally it's gone completely, right? And so I'm sat there, and I said to him, "So you can't speak?" And he's like, like, this is a dream come true. I get to have dinner with you in silence for a change. And he's just like, and you can't hear anything. It was amazing. I had a great dinner with Slacks last night.
So he saved it all for today.
Yeah. No, he's back to normal today. It seems like so. It's good to have him better, as it were. Great stuff from both of those. It wouldn't be TI without those two anymore, would it?
No.
100% it would. There's no way. I mean, right? Slacks came to his first TI, I believe. Was it TI 3? I think it was TI 4. He came by himself. He was just doing these garbage, like, just absolutely awful interviews, doing stuff like that.
Sneaking past security.
Yep. Yeah, I have a badge just running by him, and now guess what? He's here. He's the man of the hour. Like, he is. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's fantastic. It's great suit today as well. Let's talk more about players. We were talking about that before the break in terms of players out there who've done well. We've got some statistics actually to share with you right now. This is the kill leaders board for TI9. So in order of how many kills they've got. So, it doesn't take into account how many games. But look how close this is between these 5 players. Miracle 224. Anna 224. Samael 223. Can't get any more, sadly. We 215 can definitely catch up. And Thompson 204. That's insane how close those are.
Especially, it's right. Both cores on both teams is just mind-blowing. That means those supports, they're really struggling to get kills. But, like, Thompson and Anna, they're like, yes, give them to us. And, I mean, it's a big part of their strategy as well.
Yeah.
That's crazy, those kills.
OG literally serves up kills on a silver platter.
Well, I'm glad you said that because we also have the assist leaders as well. So this will be interesting to check out. Kuro with 402 is just ahead of Yapsor on 401. Mind Control 382. Fly 381 and Puppy 380. It's equally as close between the top 5 assist guys as well. And similar teams too.
Yeah, it is. And Mind Control, right? He's the only core player on there. You don't really think about a core player and you think of assists, but he's playing these heroes now even just like Darkseer, right? And it's like, oh, we're just going to get assists because I don't really get kills, but here you guys go.
Absolutely. Top 5 average GPM per game is also a stat. This one is a bit weird because there's some elk
played
games
the most
here.
elk.
Yeah, there is some elk. There are some elk. It should have a star at the bottom. There are elk games. Crystallized 704 would be a single record for an entire TI, by the way. Average GPM, which he can't get any higher or lower because he's finished, obviously. So it's an incredible achievement from Crystallized. In his first ever TI as well. Army 693.9, he's up there as well. Hector's had a fabulous tournament. He's been probably my favourite player to watch. Yuar, likewise, had an incredible group stage. He was top of this board back then. And Nisha has also played exceptionally well. I mean, a lot of that, as you say, is slightly skewed because of the elk stuff and whatever. But still impressive stats from some of these guys. And it shows us, doesn't it, just how well some of these youngsters have played.
Yeah, I mean, especially a guy like Hector. Everyone's talking about him, what he's doing. He's not playing a lot of elk. He's just...
efficient.
Yeah, he's efficient.
Well,
he's kind of reinventing how to farm a bit.
Well, he's playing Elk Light. That's what ranking is right
Junior.
now. That's what Elk is. You pick up a Midas, you pick up a Radiance, you throw skeletons all over the map. You're basically Alchemist Light. All I'm saying is I don't want Hector to be like the visionary that every carry's going to go to now. I don't want to see my carries TPing from a tier 2 tower to a shrine just to, get farmed 5 seconds faster because, then no one's going to have a TP and that's going to be a terrible meta.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Hector by himself, sick player.
Yeah, I mean, when Samael says the kid's a beast, then you got to take notice.
Even Puppy in his exit interview said his name. He's like, Hector. Like, you get said by name by a player like Puppy, and you have to feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. We should bring in our draft panel and check in with them just to say hi more than anything else, because I know you guys have been over there. Good morning.
How you doing, Paul?
Properly good morning. You seem to be very well warmed up, sir.
I am pretty excited for the entire day. I think a lot of the things you started to bring up, you just look at this TI, so much history has already been made. Like, you look at what's happened for regions as a whole and people just setting the bar higher and higher over and over again. I'm excited to see what the final storyline is.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I am still a little bit awestruck by the splits and
I
whatever
know, right?
Casey
These
did
bendy
there.
people.
Yeah, I was excited for the Dota today, and I also got that. But I just think it's crazy that the teams, it feels like we kind of doubted. We were wondering how we expected them to do better in the group stage, and yet, or at the start of the bracket, and yet they're all back here. And like teams like Liquid, it seems like the best players this year truly have made it to the final 3, and I'm just so excited to see the best Dota in the world.
It feels like the top 6 were, in some order, the top 6 that most people would expect, right? It's just consistent results throughout the year. And what a surprise, they all show up at TI too.
It's true, actually. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Group stages don't always transfer.
No.
To, oh, we finished top of our group, we'll win the whole. It doesn't work like that normally, does it?
Yeah, there's some great memes about Kuro in the groups versus Kuro in the lower bracket.
Yes.
I think they're excellent. And
Do you want to give the line, or
what is the line?
do you know the line?
I think that's Rich's take.
Yeah, probably is actually Rich's take. You know the line, Rich?
Wait, I don't know this meme.
Oh,
that's probably the
not in his
biggest
notes.
oversight
right.
of this draft bench.
See, we trusted him. We brought him into the circle.
The biggest over.
Yeah, this was the TI7 lower bracket run when when the meme came out about what the upper brackets for something else.
Oh,
I can't say the
now
word.
it-
See,
now
I was
it's
trying to tempt
connected.
him into saying the word, but he can't say the word.
I still have no idea where you're going.
Oh, really? Okay.
Lower
it's from
bracket
TI7.
is for bitches.
No, it's
Upper bracket.
Well, it's
upper
upper
bracket.
bracket.
Upper bracket. Yeah, I was trying to tempt Kyle into it, but it's fine, Grant.
Oh,
you
God.
saved us. It's all good. Thank you, gents. Obviously, we'll come back to you.
Someone had to.
The draft.
Only Grant. Only Grant could take that line, and he would say it, but he would mess it up. God damn, I love you, Grant.
It's fine, Grant. Someone clip that and put it on Reddit immediately.
Oh, please don't.
Don't worry, Bob already heard.
We're having fun. And we're obviously moving towards our first series of the day. If you're just joining us, welcome to the International 2019. We're having a bit of fun at the start of our final day, just reminiscing a little bit about the tournament itself, recapping some of the things that have already happened. It's been a magical tournament after all, and some real highlights and records set by players and teams alike. So I do want to go back into the group stages a little bit and just, talk about it, because it was such a phenomenal group stage. It was, I think, and I know a number of people think it was the best group stage we've ever had.
It was so competitive. There was no free games or free wins. I feel like past group stages, when we moved to this 18-team format, there was a couple of teams who would have, the 0 wins. You had Fnatic if you go back a couple of years, and there was also Hellraisers who had 1 win.
Yeah.
This year, the bottom teams, and in Chaos, you've got a TI winner on both teams competing, finishing last in their groups. That's how tough this group stage was. I don't think anybody expected an IP. A lot of people had them in top 8 at this tournament to be getting eliminated in groups.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Winter, our friend Winter as well, from the terrible MUFC days. 15 minutes and 8, an average of 49.63 kills per game. Those stats alone, Grant, kind of make you go, holy crap, what went on in that group stage?
Dude, that's a lot of kills.
It
Almost
was.
50, and then that shortest game, I know a lot of compendium people are at home are like, oh,
We were like,
thank
please
you.
go past
Yes, not
15.
Yep, and then they did it and GG'd out.
Yeah.
But and that long game, that Chaos versus TNC game was so fun to watch.
It was.
It wasn't even just, they're just on different sides of the map. They were fighting constantly, and then, buyback, and okay, we'll wait again and do it. And they did it 5 times over and over.
Yeah, there's been a few games like that. I always feel sometimes that there is an inevitability about who's going to win those longer games, but that isn't the way it is this year. It seems the meta's shifted a little bit, and it still could go one mistake and it could cost you the entire game.
Absolutely. I think there's one team who did have that inevitability, which was Secret. Whenever they were behind, you're like, is Secret really behind? Are they? They won some games. Like, look at the Mineski series where it's like, come on, surely Secret's going to lose this one. It's the same in the group stage. They had multiple Mega Creeps come back against Alliance and then also against Newbie. But it wasn't just, Secret coming back. It was any of the teams, some of the teams you didn't expect who are turning around huge deficits.
Yeah, I remember back EG versus Eheim. I think it was TI6 with the Mega Creep comeback, which was an insane. It's one of my favorite games I've ever seen, partly because of the way that it happened just in the middle of the arena. But it seems now Mega Creep comebacks are, I wouldn't say more prevalent, but they are slightly easier now. You can do something if you react quickly to it.
There's a lot of things about that. I think that teams are a little bit better about how they come back against Mega Creeps. Again, I want to reference the Secret Mineski one. One thing that Secret did really smart was they actually stalled out the barracks. They knew they were going to lose Megas, but they didn't just go, okay, we have to play against Megas. They actually stalled out, waiting that last 10 seconds till, I don't remember who, but somebody was going to come back alive. They initiate on this Alchemist, slow him down, hex him up. He has to recommit to the barracks, and as a result, just that little bit of stall out turns into a team fight. That team fight turns into Mineski almost getting wiped, and Secret able just to march down mid. There's a lot of situations like that. But there's also late game factors as well, Aghanim Scepters and Moon Shards you can always go farther. You can always, you never feel like a hero is capped out like he used to.
Yeah, it's true. Grant, what have you made of this entire tournament?
Man, it's been nuts. I got to cast the first carry IO game right. I saw that. I'm like, oh my goodness, we are going to see this a ton this turn. We have. I thought maybe it would just be Ana, but we've seen Nisha play it, multiple others, and then I'm surprised. We're not seeing these late game team fighters going through in these last three teams. Right? I thought Secret was going to be like, oh, Earthshaker, Enigma. We don't care about fighting from behind. That's what we like to do best. And instead, they let the Alk through, and here we are now.
Yeah. Cap?
It's been a fantastic tournament. I felt, I always look back to TI6 when I was so sure that somebody was going to actually take the Aegis the next year 2 times in a row, but it still hasn't happened. Maybe it'll happen this year. Maybe we'll go to TI10. Dude, that's insane.
It is.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah. We could have 10 years of the International without a world champ being crowned twice.
I think especially crazy when you consider it is mostly the same players who come back year after year. It's not like every TI there's half the teams are new teams. It's 80%, 70% of the players who played a TI before. There's normally only a handful of TI newcomers, maybe 10 or 15. I don't know if you know how many there are this year, but there's.
Well, I think there's 22 this year.
Okay, 22. Yeah. That's
a fair amount.
That's 4 teams out of 18's worth. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's never happened before. 9 years of TI.
Yeah, and it feels like we do talk about it every year and think, it must end this year.
Yeah.
And it feels like we've done that for 5 years too. So, yeah, who knows? I think it's probably the greatest chance we've got this year because of the 15 players we've got left, 9 have won TI. So the odds are in our favour this year of a new champion. 10 have actually played in a TI final. If we get Liquid versus OG, all 10 players have played in a grand final before at TI. So that would be interesting. But likewise, LGD are the only team that haven't won it before out of the 3 that are left. And they've got 5 players who've never won it before, which means that it's their chance to win it this year because that's the way the gods work, isn't it? Isn't that how Ice Frog dictates who wins TI?
Seems so far, yeah. It's LGD's destiny maybe, but there's a crazy amount of experience with these 3 teams.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter who gets the final now. There's experience from all 3 sets of teams. They've all been there. They all know what they're doing. All 15 players have played in a TI final, so because people are going, hold on, but there's Weeha. Yeah, he also played in a grand
Digital
final.
Chaos.
Yeah,
Digital Chaos.
The original Cinderellas, as it were.
Exactly.
Before OG went one further and won the whole thing. So plenty of experience in that final. I don't think nerves are necessarily going to be an issue. Grant, are they at this stage?
I think there's always going to be nerves. And honestly, for PSG.LGD, I feel like there might be a little more nerves because you talk about the crowd's going to be backing you. But in the back of your head, you're like, we can't let the crowd down. We cannot let – we are the home team. We just can't let him down. And I'm sure that's creeping in the back of their head. You lose one game and you're like, oh, my goodness, this isn't good.
That's why Ame said he's going to try not to care about the crowd. He's just going to, sit there in his soundproof booth. He's not going to give in to all the hype that's behind them too much. And I think that's also why for the Chinese teams, it is important to be able to have a coach that takes the blame. We talked a lot about ROTK, but 357 does the same. the old bald man, as they call him. Apparently,
Dude,
that's
exactly.
harsh, man. China's harsh, but that like he's just going to be the lightning rod for a lot of that, and hopefully he will soak it up for his players, and they'll perform better as a result.
Right, okay. You're probably wondering, while we're chit-chatting away regarding the start of the day, it has been a long day already, I guess, for you guys. I know that you're up late wherever you are in the world, and maybe some of you got up early. Thank you for tuning in. And we apologize for the delay. Unfortunately, we are suffering for some technical problems right now, which we are working hard to get fixed. Obviously, I'm not working hard to get them fixed. I don't do that kind of stuff, but some people are working very hard to get them fixed. And as soon as we've got any more news for you, we will let you know. But stay tuned. This is the International 2019. Okay, welcome back to the International 2019. We've had some issues. I'm glad to say they've been fixed. Thank you so much, gents.
I'm not going to try to explain the whole situation to you, Paulie.
It's fine.
Yeah, sometimes the F4 wiring, it's a very complicated thing, and let's just say it's not very conductive to conductivity.
Okay, but we're all good to go, though, Rich.
Yeah, we're fine.
Everything's fine.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks,
No problem.
Rich. You guys do a service to Dota 2 and to the community. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like I've seen a fair number of handymen or plumbers or electricians.
I know how that movie ends.
I'm just glad
I've
you
seen a lot
guys
of
were
them
here.
online that look just like Rich. Same mustache.
Yeah. I think, Rich, I've now realized where I've seen that look before. It's Armageddon.
Armageddon.
You look like Bruce Willis from Armageddon.
That wasn't the video I was referencing.
Oh, we're on very different websites. Yeah, we're on very different websites. We're streaming different things.
All right, well, whilst we're on that show, let's move away from that and do a very quick preview. If you've just joined us, sorry for the delay. We are almost ready to get underway and welcome our teams to the arena. Back with that panel once more. Thanks to Kyle and Rich for fixing things. Let's look ahead. Excitement for the start of the day, obviously, yes. And then we've got this first matchup between PSG and Liquid. It's going to be a doozy.
I am looking forward to see what the crowd is like today. PSG.LGD playing in an elimination match, going to be fighting for survival against Liquid. That is going to be insane inside the arena.
Yeah, actually, when you look out right now, the corners are filled as well, which might sound a bit weird to say that, but actually you can't really see the screen very well, which is why they don't generally sit there. Today they've got to.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be loud. Yesterday when they were playing, it was the loudest thing. I was sitting right out here still in the panel when it's happening, and I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the casters that are on the main screen. It was crazy, and I expect to be more of the same.
Yep, absolutely. Teams obviously had to adjust this morning. They've got them psychologically. They're ready to go, and then they have to stop and then have to restart. What's that doing to them backstage right now? They've only got a couple of minutes before they come out.
I'm sure Kuro's already given a number of speeches to his team and then a break, and then he's like, all right, we're getting back into it, another speech. But, hopefully everyone's ready to go. I know I've been real anxious to watch some Dota.
Absolutely, between these two teams as well. PSG, the nerves are going to start coming now, aren't they? A couple of minutes out, coming out in a big arena with their home fans ready to cheer them.
Be interesting to see how they play around the crowd, or as some have said, maybe you have to kind of tune it out because it's a lot of pressure. They want to see PSG.LGD in the finals. Everyone wants to get there. And
absolutely. Is there more weight now on them, Grant, because they're the last surviving Chinese team?
I definitely think so. With their crowds, their ruthlessness, losing here would be the biggest disappointment for them. So I think there's a lot on their shoulders. And as Kat said, they just got to ignore it, get it out of there.
Yeah, people think that, from a foreigner's perspective, they think, oh, the Chinese crowds are so harsh to the Western audience. But here's the thing. They're just as harsh, if not worse, to their own teams once they actually lose. They're going to get trashed on Weibo and stuff if they do actually go out here. So, again, you got to block all that out of your mind.
Have to.
Just play some Dota.
Yeah, just play some Dota.
Just another day
I
playing
remember
some
the
Dotes with the boys.
Was a bit, OGEG game was a bit, it felt like a pub game.
Yeah.
For a cool, few $1 million. But it wasn't like a pub because they basically have zoned everything else out. And that's what they've got to do today, isn't it? Both teams.
Absolutely. Forget the pressure, what you're playing for, and just play Dota like it's any other game.
Yep. That's why I treat every single one of my pubs like I'm playing for millions of dollars.
Wow,
just
really?
so I'm under that
Reverse
pressure
psychology.
all the time. Yeah.
Reverse psychology. I love it. All right. Good stuff. We are almost ready, ladies and gentlemen, to get into game number one. Let's introduce you to the teams. Our first team to the arena for this lower bracket final are Team Liquid, led by the legend Kuroki. They have 4 previous TI champions on the roster. from TI7 plus a TI finalist in Weeha. They have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have the power, and they've come all the way through the lower bracket from the very first round and are currently unbeaten. They are 9-0 at the main event. It's been an incredible journey by Team Liquid. Does it come to an end now, or is there another part of the story to write? One of the most successful teams in Dota 2 history, but still without an Aegis. Last year's runners-up, PSG.LGD, come out to the familiar chants of the crowd and are now finding themselves just one step away from a repeat grand final against exactly the same team. In that way are Team Liquid. It's a magical final day as we get ready for our lower bracket final between these two giants of Dota 2. It seems almost incredible, Gods, when we talk about LGD as a team that haven't won the Ages. You know, you think how long they've been around, and the teams they've formed, and the international teams, and the young teams. Just their competitiveness over the last 8 or 9 years has been incredible, and yet still that one thing is missing.
Yeah, the very first TI I went to, TI2, they went 14-0 in the group stage.
Yep.
They came out of that group stage and was like, this seems unbeatable. How do we play against them? And then they've been at so many TIs since then, getting top 4, top 3, top 6, and have never quite come across the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, so close last year, but
Is there something to it, Cap, or is it just competition?
You know, I would always say that, oh, it's just competition and stuff. But, like, this TI has really changed my mind about that. Everyone talks about, like, curses and, like, the trends that are sent and, like, all these little things. I think they do add a bit of spice. I do think that they add something that is in the players' minds. You know, last year, they talked about the curse, right? They said, it's a China year, right?
Yep.
You know, and
it was
OG said, hey, you can't think that way,
by the
right?
way, last year. 8 is very lucky in China.
Yeah.
So all the gods aligned last year to make it LGD.
But if you talk about curses and destinies, the Chinese meme around LGD is they're already the winners of the internationals. It's been like that all year round. It's their destiny to win TI, so they just have to fulfill it now.
Yeah, they do. Grant, it's always a testing time when you come to these lower bracket matches, no matter what the tournament. Does it make any difference to these players right now, the fact that it's TI and it's one step away from a grand final?
Oh, it definitely does. And as God said, like, they've been so close. I mean, last year, they probably thought they won Game 3, Game 4. Like, these games, you should have won. And in the back of their mind, they're just going to keep saying, it could have been that year, but push it out. And I think on the other side, Liquid, like, they're just composed. You saw, I love watching both teams walking out, see, like, who's waving, who's clapping and all that. You see Liquid. They look pretty carefree. Weeha smiling the entire way out. Meanwhile, on the other side, you know, Ame with a couple hands in the air, but completely straight-faced.
Yeah, it's also interesting listening to the crowd and who they cheer for as well.
Yeah, I love it.
In terms of each of their players is slightly different. Ame got a huge roar at the start, but I think the biggest roar was from Maybe.
Yeah, it definitely was. Ame, I was like, man, Ame, you're not going to be able to beat that. And then at the end, he came on, and it was easily the loudest cheer. And on the other side, I thought it'd be Miracle, but no, it was Kuro.
Yeah, it was Kuro.
It was
for
Kuro.
sure, when they saw Kuro on the stage. We've now got a regular chant going on around the arena as well. It's exceptionally loud in here, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And the LGD fans are definitely making themselves heard early here on day number 6, the final day, Championship Sunday, as this man goes in search of a first title.
We may be in China, but they still know how to do a wave.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
Universal language.
Absolutely. The international wave. Fantastic. The atmosphere is absolutely electric in here. It really is. How do they shut that out in the booth, Cat? Because you can't get involved. You can't. I mean, I know some players are kind of fueled by it, aren't they? I love the hype. I love the hype. But actually, you can't let that in the booth. You need to shout all of that out now.
Yeah, there's I've heard like a lot of captains talk about like being able to remain cold when you're in these matches, right? Because outside of OG, Dota is best played in a more calm, intellectual, just playing with your brain.
I'm with you so far.
And being able to understand that you don't want to get too much in the emotions, don't want to overextend yourself off getting one kill, thinking you would get 2 or 3. You have to be able to be aware of all these elements, all of these little variables, all these little math numbers that are running at you. You just have to be able to feel that game. And in order to do so, you have to remain calm. But OG has shown something different. And I think TI is a different tournament as well. GH said that TI is all about who chokes and who overperforms. Yep. And so far, we have all of our teams who have been overperforming. OG, LGD, and Liquid, I think, to each their own, have overperformed. I mean, Liquid started off with such a rough group stage that there's no doubt that they've come into the playoffs and overplayed their hand a bit.
Yeah, 9-0, Grant. That's when it's like, they've had a good run.
Yeah.
It's like 7-2, maybe 8-3. 9-0 is insane.
I mean, the fact you're in the losers bracket and you're undefeated on the main stage is just pretty unheard of, honestly.
Yeah, it's an incredible. It would be a record as well. I mean, it's already a record.
It is, yeah.
How far they've gone. They finished top 3. No team's ever done that from the first round of the lower bracket. It's insane to think that they could actually play in the final.
And definitely could. I mean, they have the momentum. That's the thing. As we talked about, PSG.LGD, they lost in the other bracket. They lost the last series they played, while Liquid they did the stomp. Yeah. They stomped Secret in the last series they played, so momentum is definitely always a factor.
How much did PSG pay attention to that? Because I don't think they necessarily would have thought they would end up playing Liquid at this point in the tournament, would they? After the group stages?
After the group stage, absolutely not. But you're kind of, when they looked at that Liquid Secret series, they're obviously considering both opponents very highly. They're probably looking at it more from a draft and strategy perspective about what heroes Liquid's prioritizing, how we're going to deal with the Alk, because obviously OG beat them with them. Now they're versing Liquid, who will also first 2 pick it. So a lot of those key heroes are going to be what they're focusing on when looking at those games.
Yeah, not too far away from our first draft. Let's turn our attention to a few of those key moments. Cap, the other one's got to be the IO Gyro, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know.
Get rid of it. Don't let him play.
I mean, Alchemist surely isn't going to be showing, but is IO going to make an appearance?
Both teams play too.
See, yeah.
I mean, but Liquid haven't shown it as a carry.
They haven't.
So it's a GH special, no doubt about that. And they have paired it with the Gyro consistently. So is that
Gyro by himself even has been like really strong at this tournament. We saw yesterday maybe attempt to carry the game with his mid gyrocopter right against OG. Yeah, I don't know. There's draft definitely a lot to talk about, but I'm actually interested in what our panel I haven't actually heard. Do you guys have a favorite for this series, one way or the other? Because it's really hard to say, right?
Yeah. No, I'm with Casey. I told you earlier when she said, I want all 3 games. I kind of do for the different reasons, but I'm still, for me, I want FY.
Guts?
My gut says Liquid.
Does it?
They're run. This 9-0 run.
No, I get it.
It just feels like everything is clicking for them. To me, they're in the lower bracket, like what OG is in the winning bracket, where it just feels like nothing's going to stop them. Yeah. And then those 2 teams could match up in the grand finals, and it's going to be I don't know how that goes down, but
that would be TI7 winners versus TI8 winners.
Oh man! And I'd say Liquid. I mean, they're undefeated. How do you go against a team who hasn't lost a game on the main stage? That's numbers.
No. But in Dota, though, you often think the other way. The longer the streak goes on, the more likely it is that it'll be broken, don't you? Because it's rare teams win 2-0. Most Dota tournaments, the big ones anyway, it's 2-1 because of the way that the flow and drafts and everything else works.
I agree, and I think the biggest thing is I honestly do, before we got into these last couple days, I thought OG and PSG.LGD were way above everyone else. Secret, EG, they're good and all that, but these teams look so dominant in the winner's bracket, and then slowly Liquid was creeping up. So I think it is very even, but I just can't bet against undefeated.
Okay, Cap, you asked the question. Where's your bet?
I'm leaning with LGD here. Sorry, say OG. I'm leaning with LGD here, actually. Just something about as Grant said, they had such dominant performances in the upper bracket. I can forgive the Alchemist. You lose to it twice, it's whatever. Shake it off. You see if you could beat it. You can't. Okay, you learned something about it. Now you're going to go clean up Liquid real quick in the lower bracket and get against OG.
Okay. So you think this is a PPD play against CDEC? It's exactly what Peter did in the upper bracket final. Gave him what he wanted to see if he could beat it. Figured he couldn't. Got that information ready for the final. You think that's the PSG way?
Better to get that information now than being 2-0 in the grand finals, right?
Yes.
Or 0-2.
yeah. Being 2-0 in the final would be quite, quite a good thing. I'd be quite happy with that. And in terms of the approach the Liquid take to this, as God said earlier, they're quite chilled, I guess, because they've done so well. But is it not? Does that not change the closer you get? Because you kind of go, oh, we didn't really expect to be here. Now we're only one game. Does that not come into your brain a bit?
It's every team. You get further than your expectations, you're still disappointed. RNG talked about it. They just didn't want to get past the best of ones. They didn't want to get bottom 4. And in their exit interview, they still said, yeah, we went past that, but we're still disappointed even without top 8. Secret, yes, they got 4th place. That's the best Team Secret's ever done in TI. And still, they're not happy with that. I don't think any of these 2 teams playing here are going to be happy with a loss. You always want to go one step further. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, 3rd place is not where you want to finish at TI, that's for sure, because you want to play in the last game. OG sit here, they're quite happy right now. Chilling, watching these 2 teams. They've already said they quite like a crack at Liquid in the final. But I don't think they're disappointed if they get PSG. They've got their number right now.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially because we will say it, after game 1, when OG won, they did get booed a little bit. I mean, then when they came back out, they saw, they're like, wait, this is helping them, I think. No tail throwing out the hearts over and over. No one can really boo OG. Yeah, it's so hard, and they're just sitting back, and they do not care who they play. Sure, they might want Liquid, but they're like, we're going to beat whoever we see.
Seb with the call out.
Yeah, I was
I'm sorry, I can't hear you anymore, crowd.
It's
sorry,
the most lovable team in Dota getting booed. I loved it. I'm a big OG fan because they've got Nausea on their team, but seeing them get booed by this crowd because they want to see LGD win, that felt like being in a sports arena.
It did, right?
It was
and I know there's been some criticism online. I've seen it. I've had plenty of it on my own timeline. Thank you very much, and I don't want any more. But it is kind of legitimizes it in some ways. If you ever go to a Barcelona game and they're playing another team at Barcelona, guess who they boo? They boo the other team. It's not disrespectful. It's just the opponents for the day. It's like 90 minutes of rivalry. You're my enemy for 90 minutes. Afterwards, we're fine, right? And it's the same here. All the Chinese people that we've been around are super friendly, super helpful, super nice. They're all massive Dota fans, but in particular, they want to root for their hometown team. I don't see anything wrong with that.
They care. They love Dota, and they care, and they love their teams.
Yeah, they do. But they've also supported plenty of the players as well. They've all got their favourites. I mean, Anna is massive out here. The fandom that Jack was explaining it to me the other day, he is absolutely huge in China.
They welcomed Liquid in this series with applause. A shout out to any of the Western viewers who have come over into this. We actually just saw it on the Chinese stream. There was a couple from Finland who was just in the crowd shot. And he's just a sea of LGD shirts,
2 Jerax
flags,
fans, all the
LGD
way.
is invincible, everything. And I think that's one of the best parts of TI for me in the past has been the hardcore Chinese contingent that always came over to watch the games.
Absolutely.
Right? And they would all back themselves behind the Chinese casters, and they would be a little bit quieter, but the volume they came out from that section whenever the Chinese teams were playing, that was just amazing. They were able to rival the Western audience in so many ways, and now they vastly outnumber the very few foreign audience that is here. But
it's a very much an international event, as we said earlier on. 37 different languages taking the feeds over this main event. A week of 6 days of competition here at the International 2019, and plenty of different ways to watch, including binoculars. It seems nice. Love the tablet memes. They're all always out there as well. I like the LED signs as well. The scrolling LEDs, they're quite fun because you can pretty much do anything you want out there as well. Great to see the crowd having a little bit of fun. We hope you're having fun at home as well, wherever you're tuned in from. I know it's been a challenging time in terms of time zones, but you know what? You've been spoiled because the previous 8 time zones have been fine. You can forgive one, I'm sure. And we're obviously moving towards our first draft of the day between these 2 teams. Looking ahead a little bit as well, we've already mentioned OG. They're chilling out right now, no problem at all. Strategically speaking, who have been the stronger of these 3? Because OG, it feels like they're running on memes or something, or fuel of some kind that's nothing to do with the actual Dota.
Rainbows and flowers.
Exactly,
and power
right?
Friendship.
Absolutely, right? It does seem a bit out there with stuff that they do. But in terms of strategic, who's been the strongest of the three?
I would say PSG.LGD. They're just a very strategically sound team. Their coach 357 brings a ton of experience and strategy to the table. They're just a very formulaic team in a lot of ways, and to me, we're ahead in a lot of those OG games. They lost that series, but it wasn't because they got outdrafted.
Right. That's
Just,
almost that's a rival back to last year's fight. It felt like they won 4 of the 5 games, and yet they lost 3-2.
Yeah, that was something crazy about that series and the upper bracket finals. I just remember constantly thinking like, oh, LGD has this, and then just a little bit of impatience. We saw it in the upper bracket finals here yesterday as well, where LGD was ahead, and certain decisions like around the Roshan pit, where they chose to contest Roshan despite knowing the fact that they couldn't really do it. They end up giving up Roshan and the Aegis, and they give away 3 heroes as well. Like, maybe you can give up the Rosh, maybe you could take the fight, but you can't lose both, right? And that just was such a blow that it just ended game 2 almost immediately.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit opposite of Gods. I feel like Liquid has shown, I know LGD, their drafts are a little more stable, but I've seen Liquid, they've pulled out more strategies. They've shown, like, if you ban this, we'll play this, and I feel like people haven't really pushed PSG.LGD out of their comfort zone yet. And Liquid, they've been all out of their comfort zone with the Wisp getting banned. They can pick it up if it's not. I feel like they just have a little more diversity in their pool, and maybe it won't come into play. Maybe PSG.LGD will just get that tied, and then they're going to play, and they could just win.
It's interesting, actually, when you look at the heroes picked. OG are right in the middle. They're in the middle band. PSG are right at the bottom in terms of the amount of heroes. They've had 38 heroes played at this event, which is the 3rd lowest. 57 for Team Liquid.
That's pretty crazy, and it really does go to show.
I think it proves Grant's point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always. Our first game just moments away, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to head to our draft panel and introduce you to the lower bracket final.
PSG.LGD versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
Folks, before we even start talking about this series, before we even start talking about the draft, I think we just look at this TI as a whole. We look at some of the things that already happened, because so much history has already been etched into those clay tablets, those tomes of Dota history, and you have an entire region having their highest placing of all time. You have your longest losers bracket run. The question is, what else are we going to see? Are we going to see a 2-time champ? Are we going to see a back-to-back champ? This series is going to shine a lot of light onto that, because first of all, how long is this losers bracket run going to be able to go?
Seriously, not just a run, but undefeated. Talk about a royal road. This is a different type. Imagine, like, we talk about Secret, losing yesterday to the same team, Liquid, 3 years in a row. What's crazy is that Kuro, he's been in this sort of position before as well, but as a winner. To win TI7, they went through the loser bracket. They ended up with a 3-0 in the grand final. Like, they just killed it. They've got to be building in confidence, you'd imagine, as they progress.
Dota's a game that's so easy strategically to drop one draft, to mess up one time in a crucial moment. And to be 9-0 even in the group stage would be insane. And they're 9-0 at the main event, taking game series from teams like Secret. These aren't 9-0 runs against the middle-class teams of TI.
Yeah, they are on an absolute tear. I think there are a lot of heroes for anybody who is just tuning in for Championship Sunday, maybe hasn't gotten to take a look at groups or what's happened here thus far at the main event. There are definitely some heroes that we think about instantly. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be one who's going to be talking too much about what we expect in the draft panel, but I know that Alchemist is good.
I was like, do I need to throw it to that? Because you'd probably know that, Alka's probably what you need. I don't want to see that hero at all today.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, we don't even need to talk about it.
Well, I feel like one of the other heroes that we haven't been talking about as much recently that I feel really is kind of in that tier in a lot of ways, though, is the Enchantress, too. Do you think that we could be seeing some Ench today, Kyle?
It's possible. I think of all the power heroes in the meta, that's the one that's most solved. It was super popular as well during Liquid's TI7 run, but more importantly, it's not the same in the sense that it's a lane dominator, and the impetus, as you said, it's gone, but Liquid first picked Tiny.
Okay, so last series against OG, LGD had first pick and banned IO. So people have been talking about that they can play IO, but the fact that IO's been mainly played as a core in the deciding games, LGD hasn't proved that they can do that. It doesn't really seem like Ame's style, and I think Liquid's almost saying, calling the bluff. We picked Tiny, one of the most sought out heroes this meta as well. are you going to be willing to pick Io in such an important game?
I don't think so, because after the change with the Ags to Ally going from 15 to level 20, the Io Gyro of PSG.LGD, that was their bread and butter, and it's just not that same power level anymore, but as a core, that's when it starts to look sick. Elder Titan, arguably the best support on the patch.
Best laning hero in the entire game. The one change I didn't know about that Fog just couldn't stop talking about is that a Spirit gives you armor.
Yeah.
And strength heroes in lane that have innate ways of getting armor, you just trade so well. The hero's still the same. Suddenly you give him 7 armor when a Spirit comes back to him, and you can't trade at all.
Plus a ton of damage, move speed. It's just, it's not balanced in the laning phase, and that's the same opener they used yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, Tiny Void, one of the most broken combos right now with the new Ag Scepter on Tiny. You could dump in, what, like 2,000 AoE damage into a Chrono mid to late game. And the only weakness of Tiny's Ags is that people can get out of it. There's really no, other than a select few abilities in all of Dota, there's nothing that moves people out of Chrono. And that's what makes Void just so potent to be able to pick this early.
And if there were abilities that did so, they'd be supports for the most part. You know, the Vengeful Spirit as an example. You can't really choose that anymore as PSG.LGD. You'd have a very one-dimensional 3-hero core, and what, you're going to run like a mid Rubik or something? We've seen it in the past, but you're most likely just going to have to make do with Rubik ET as your 4-5.
Overall, stylistically, I think a lot of the analysts have been saying when you look at LGD, you said that this is a team that's playing textbook Dota at the highest level, right? Like, they don't need to recreate, come out with any cheese necessarily. They're going to just be able to do what you would expect a team to do, but they do it the best. Do we expect to see that in this draft?
Absolutely, but you need this execution level in the late game. They're going to need some way to make team fights simple for them. Maybe some reliable way to shut down the Void from getting his Chrono off. Because if that Chrono goes off, whoever's in it is going to die. And that just makes the game, like, you're operating on such pins and needles.
And we saw Liquid do something similar with the Wyvern last pick yesterday, where they were playing up against this Mag, this high physical damage lineup, but they had that trump card, the just combo break that would deal with the huge AoE ultimate. So in this scenario, I think it's PSG.LGD you've got to look for something like that. And unfortunately, again, it's the supports. They already have them selected. So unless they want to do something unconventional, you're in a rough spot. And I love the bans from Liquid. They take out arguably the two best strength-based initiators that are mid and maybe's comfort heroes. It would be an excellent counter to the Void. You tank through the Chrono, as you said. You can't really, you have to stay inside of it.
Yeah.
So you need survivability.
Yeah, and also Kunkka, the X, is really good against Void's escape mechanism, so it's almost this dual, like, you have the initiation factor that shuts down the Void from those two heroes, and also, like you said, if you get them in the Chrono, it doesn't necessarily mean they die.
Right, eating ships, not going to be a worry now that they get that out of the way. What do you expect to see? What holes need to be filled here, Kyle?
That's a tough question, Rich. They take out the Lion. This is the turn. Probably the most important part of a draft from the second pick position, because last pick usually have a lot of time remaining. You know what hole you're looking to fill in your draft. Whereas here, you have so many different ways to go because there's heroes you might want, but now, as an example, you take Centaur, you've revealed that this is your offlaner, you've got the support combination, there isn't much role versatility remaining. They're going to look to just save their cores for the last 2 picks and counter what they feel like Liquid's doing.
So just to reiterate that, if you're looking at, as like probably out of all the analysts, I'm probably the second lowest MMR, something like that, when you look at this third pick, do you go, okay, this is when all of a sudden we start to see where chips are falling? Is this really that pressure point?
LGD has kind of just said, this is how we're going to approach fights. They've given you a lot of damage, the disengage as well as the engage from your Centaur ultimate, but they haven't really said, this is how we plan to win the game. This is what scales us into the game. All these heroes are kind of enablers to whatever is going to be picked.
And it's cool because you look at the different philosophies where Liquid, they just come out and they 1-2 pick their 1 and their 2.
Yeah.
PSG.LGD, they're, as you said, setting up the rest of their draft, whereas Liquid's like, look, we know the concept that works. As God said, I really love the point. OG approaches Dota as an art. Liquid, it's a science. They are very, very prepared. They boot camp by far longer than any other team, and it's no surprise they're here.
And also, if we're going to call Liquid scientists, they've definitely been in the lab. They have played so many games on the main stage already, dropping down to that lower portion of the bracket, facing elimination, and just 9-0 to get here. And I actually spoke to Puppy yesterday after he was eliminated, and the first thing that he said was, my team got better in the losers bracket. And I think that that's something that Liquid will be able to bring today.
I love this Mirana pick. I was thinking to myself, I wanted a support that would make my job as a Void easier to get a Chrono off. And when you're Mirana Invis, it's just hard for them to ever go on your Void.
Yep. And when you have the superior team fight, it's also important to ensure you have some sort of hero that acquires vision. Mirana, you scout with arrows, sure, but it's more about the Invis. So if you have a terrain or just any sort of engagement that Liquid have more information, there's no save for the Chrono right now. There's an arrow follow-up. You're going to be able to 100-0 a target, no problem. You just need to be sure that you are the ones actually initiating the engagement.
Yeah, and it's even nicer with Mirana nowadays because you play it as a 4 for people who haven't been keeping up with the tournament. It's a hero that was first banned almost all throughout the group stage, and as the tournament's gone on, people have been like, okay, well, now we can't really deal with Alchemist anymore. Now that's kind of taking the slot of Mirana, and being able to pick up such a high-value hero in this meta 3rd in the draft, I mean, it synergizes well with the Void as well. The guaranteed setup for arrow. You're going to most likely pair it in lane with something that sets it up. The most popular has been Ogre throughout the tournament, but obviously first round banned.
And I always like to kind of try to take a peek into what we think the game's going to look like. First, let's talk about this gyro.
I like it. I'm a big fan of mixed damage cores when you're playing with an Elder Titan. The Spirit increases magical damage, the Hero, the physical. So late game, you get up close and personal. Doesn't matter if there's BKBs, that Gyro is going to be doing tons of bonus damage thanks to the minus armor. But early mid game, a Spirit, a Rocket, the Gyro Q, the ultimate, it's so much damage.
And typically, especially even if you haven't been following Dota as much this year, I mean, you go back to maybe like the CQ Major, and it was obviously still very popular. When you think of Gyro and IO, they're basically the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie of Dota, right? They're just a power couple, and you typically did see them together. But when they're separated, they're still pretty dang good, especially here in this meta. We've seen Gyro by itself quite a bit, and IO all of a sudden becoming a core. It definitely has become quite iconic to see both of them by themselves. And when we've been talking about IO even, we're not necessarily thinking about the Gyro.
Yeah. I would love to see something like an Oracle coming out for Liquid. It's really good in laning against Centaur. You can purge the Retaliate buff, and there's so much magic damage. Having a save on a hero like Void or Tiny, I think will make their fights even easier. It doesn't necessarily have to be that exact hero, but I personally would prefer the counter initiation aspect because you have so much reliable damage if you can get it off, that as long as one of your main cores doesn't die right at the start of the fight, I have to envision fights will go in Liquid's favor.
And to Rich's point about like the history going into this game, right? You've got already FY Rubik. You've got maybe who beat me like 4 years ago at TI5 with the mid gyro. Ame also exceptional at it, and they're looking to go toe-to-toe with Liquid in the early to mid game. A fourth pick Tinker. They did this the other day.
Yes, they did. The damage in Chrono is almost, it was already there, and now it's really there. Gyros doesn't like to play against heroes that punish you for running in, and Tinker probably on my book is like the #1 on that list.
And you look at it, Gyro is the main source of your damage. The PSG.LGD lineup, it's all about setting up this hero to do maximum DPS. Liquid, you now have tools. There's no counter to Chrono right now on the Radiant draft, and this is very dangerous because if the game goes late enough, it's child's play. Your Chronosphere the Gyro, you kill him.
Well, that's the big thing that I do want to bring up. You say if the game goes late enough, how long is it going to take for something like this Tinker to really get online?
I don't really think it's going to take that long, to be honest. Once he gets a blink, he's incredibly survivable this game. He is going to have that fragile window where he gets the boots, like before the boots of travel, before the blink comes out, that they have so much gap close with the Centaur that all these heroes can get on top of him. But once he gets it, I don't see how they kill him.
It's less, I think, about killing Tinker, more about trying to take his tier 1s early.
Yeah.
Something the Alliance guy said on panel about this Centaur. You want to play away from him for the initial 8 to 12 minutes of the game. Let him shove waves, let him tank towers, hit them back. If he can kill tier 1s, as the other heroes of PSG.LGD can rotate around the map, make Wee's life difficult, that's going to be a big edge for them. If you leave Tinker towers to teleport to, it becomes harder and harder to push out lanes and actually take any sort of objectives, which buys so much time for Liquid.
I do want to go back to that Rubik as well. I feel like if you're just hopping in, watching right now, and you've watched TIs, you know that face. I think that this is just one of the most picked heroes at this tournament, period. And by product of that, one of the most winningest heroes that you can lock in. And if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it.
Indeed. And the beauty of it is we've seen him make such incredible plays on this main stage already. The FY Rubik, the game iconic where he stole the Phoenix egg after Supernova to get it off, turn around a big engagement. The Void's gonna have to be very careful because if you don't time dilate after Chronosphere, FY is real quick. He says he's only got 3 to 5 years. He's already been here for 5, and I love...
Shadow Demon is still in the draft 9th pick. This is a hero. Like, and you have the setup. I even like it almost more than the Oracle. I said I wanted a save, and now it's not only just a save, but like you said, in the early to mid game, it's a nice, reliable, low cooldown setup for the arrow. That hero is one of the most busted heroes in all of Dota, in my opinion. And I guess sometimes when there's just all these heroes going up in value throughout the tournament, these heroes get forgotten.
Yeah, and mind control, right? Oh! There's your Tinker counter right there. All of a sudden, PSG.LGD, they've got this excellent team fight, and as soon as you get in to the point of the game where Spectre can just go straight for Tinker, they have so much damage, so much vision control. That's a really cool 22 pick by LGD.
If he can get past the early to mid game on Spectre, the Shadow Demon does cause a lot of issues that early on, but if you get past that stage, you are the be-all, end-all counter.
And you can toggle the Radiance too, right?
Absolutely.
So Shadow Demon, you will not be able to steal it. We've seen Ame go multiple different builds. Can go either way, but this is one of the more balanced drafts I've seen so far on the main stage. This is going to be great.
All right, so we're liking what we do see in the draft on both sides, but to really shine a light on how both of these teams can potentially win, we are going to go to one of the glowiest brains in Dota. Purge, what are your last words?
Well, it's an interesting draft on both sides. Both teams got almost exactly what they wanted. On the LGD side, they ran a very similar draft to what they played against earlier against OG. It was an Elder Titan-based lineup with lots of magic damage. They opened both supports early, followed with a Centaur. This basically kind of leaves the other team, Liquid, in the dark. But Liquid also got everything they wanted. They opened with the very strong Faceless Void Tiny combo, which seems very broken in the late game, maybe only less broken than the IO carry. Here that was surprisingly ignored in the draft. And then they also followed up with amazing Mirana combos. Mirana with Faceless Void is ridiculously good. The fact that they got Shadow Demon with their last pick was exactly what Liquid wanted. You couldn't design a better draft there. But on the other side, that LGD last pick with the Spectre was so excellent. It's going to give them a hero that can get on top of the Tinker, which is really what they need. Because if Liquid's able to delay the game and keep themselves covered with Chronosphere, it's going to be really easy for them to keep getting their tiny combos. So without further ado, let's hop into the first match of the lower bracket today. Let's send it over to the casters.
Oh, we are so ready for this. I just live to hear balanced draft come out of the drafting panel. Sind, do you feel it too? Do you feel like both teams are in for a chance here in game one?
Well, and on top of all that balance, Purge just sent it to us with, I think, half a second left, so also perfectly balanced there. Maybe it's just a balanced day. The suits are balanced among the hosts. Like, everything is just the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, I agree, though. This draft is great. I actually thought LGD were kind of in trouble until this last pick Spectre. And if this would have been banned out by Liquid, I'm wondering where LGD would have gone with this, because we've seen Liquid play this lineup with the Tinker Void. If you can't take towers and put pressure early, they hit this mid-late game timing where their team fights are ridiculous and you're constantly struggling with your waves. But Spectre fulfills multiple roles in this game. It can get on top of the Tinker. It can outscale LGD or Liquid's heroes as well. And they have both the Spectre and the Gyro to go into the late game.
Kuro's going to say hi in the mid. The arrow's going to fly forward. Perfect stun. We're already beginning our lower bracket final right here with the max stun duration. Chalice will go down. Weehar is able to laser him. The crowd's starting to get behind LGD as they brought 4 heroes towards the mid, but Liquid, they were waiting for the retaliate stacks to be built up, and they answer him back.
Silver lining for Chalice, now he has 13 of them, because they were killing him. So at least he has max stacks when he goes into lane. But yeah, that's a good start for Liquid here. Getting the first blood on Weehai, especially great. Being able to have that head start in the mid lane against Gyro, which already should be a Tinker favored matchup, I think, at least by a bit. So now he might be able to even dominate against Somnus. Bounty runes, 2 for 2.
Yep, and it also means too that Team Liquid, they're able to move their lanes around, but they're going to run Miracle as this Faceless Void on the off lane, working with the SD and Mirana combination. The panel was saying very, very simple. They can transfer this anywhere they need to, but it means that, LGD had to be a little bit careful. They still took a lot to get through Chalice, so he's heading towards the safe lane for LGD. So it won't be the easiest kill on the safe laner. But this now allows LGD to push Ame into the off lane, harassing Mind Control down, who is nowhere near as survivable as the safe lane Centaur, especially when Here we go again.
Look out.
Disruption, arrow, perfect long time stun. DP support's coming in from X-Nova. But how much can he really do to help out? Chalice taking so much damage. Miracle in his body, block him up with the illusions of Kuro, even while he's being harassed by X-Nova. And Liquid go 2 on the board. Chalice died both times. But hey, still 13 retaliate.
Oh, he's actually going to walk top. He's not even TPing to get to the tower.
Are they thinking that Liquid will change the lanes on him, or?
Maybe he's keeping his options open, and also just since the wave is not accessible right now anyway, he would only probably be getting deny experience. So maybe he feels like it's not worth it. He's going to walk up here, and it gives them a bit more rotation potential since they already TP'd Xnova top. If they also TP Chalice, Liquid can basically do whatever they want with the lanes. So they're keeping it safe in case of adjustments.
Up how Kuro is now chasing the Spirit. It's like, I know where he's going to be. Marana, stay with me. Centaur's going to come as well. Disruption up on top. Somnus, yeah, he's going after Weeha. The arrow is tanked up by Chalice up on the top lane, so Xnova protects. By that Centaur.
Somnus really wants to go for the kill. He put in a lot of damage into Weeha. He's going to homing missile him now. He could just dive him here. I think Weeha's dead.
Yeah, he's got second level rocket barrage. Weeha's going to... Oh, he tried to fairy fire, but it will not be enough. Somnus brings him down and really underestimates the damage from the gyro.
That's so big for Somnus too. He's playing against a hero who got first blood. It's innately unfavorable to start off this lane, but now he's ahead.
This just never ends. The easiest combination of Liquid's life. They'll take Chalice once again, but we're starting to reach the point of diminishing returns. He's 0 for 3 on this Centaur, not a single CS, 2.5 minutes in, and this time he TPs out to the lane.
Yeah, because this time there's immediate experience in the tower, and they're pulling with Elder Titan. When you're playing an aggro tri-lane kill lane like this, you need to get multiple kills to make it worth it. Because you are sharing the experience among 3 heroes, and in the meantime, this bottom lane Spectre is having a good time together with Rubik. But now they've swapped it around. They don't want to stay as 3 anymore. I think this is a good time to swap things out for Liquid. But it also means that now Chalice will have a very easy time. Shadow Demon Void, what are they going to do to you as Centaur? You're just going to free farm now in this lane.
Yeah,
but they slowed him down.
Without the Marana arrow stun there really isn't that much you can do against him, but they needed to bring something down here. Arme was just getting free farm. And FY, always a dangerous thing. FY's Rubik is just, it's insane without farm. It's incredible with farm. I don't know if that's really an upgrade in descriptive words.
I was about to say.
But it's just cool, anyway.
It's cool with any farm.
Yeah.
Mind Control taking some big damage bottom. He has no regen left. GH can give him a tango, but Mind Control will either die or need to use the courier in the long run down here, so they can keep harassing him out, especially when FY finds level 3 soon. The big increase in damage on Fade Bolt ramping up. And Mind Control is hoping to find a rune with the bottle that he wants to purchase at minute 4, but Arm is not going to let him get the rune.
Nope, the Weeha's over and
get it. 2 heroes they want the rune, but actually Mind Control probably wouldn't have taken it regardless. He just wanted to buy his bottle. Let Weeha have the rune, but there's no rune.
Yep.
It's a double damage.
Yeah, Gyro Cup to grab that one from top river. Mind Control still ready to find on bottom. It's not the biggest combination. It's a level 2 on the tree throw. The arrow is able to connect over on Arme. So some chip damage, but you've still got Arme with 6 stick charges and the healing salve. Even if you feel like you're getting a lot of damage in, this is still a Spectre.
Yeah, they're not killing in this lane without an extra hero coming in. He's going to use his 10 sticks just to be able to build up more, get full value out of these sticks already.
Now stuns coming out on top lane. Kuro going to cop a lot of damage. Charles with the great hooks off Xnova with that plus 43 damage. And the captain of Team Liquid, Barry fires up, tries to make a break towards the tree line, but it won't work. Turns himself for the catcher to actually help out Miracle. If you get a couple more bashes, Charles may be in trouble, but all this is happening while the 5-minute rune's going on, and Mind Control dies down on the bottom lane. FY and Arme comboing together.
Oh, and LGD are going to get 4 runes too, Toby. This is a huge win for them. All 4 runes, Chalice survived, and they got 2 kills. LGD just came back in this game in a big way. Came back, it's like they were behind. It was even, but they took a lead rather.
Yeah, it was about 800 was the net worth 5 minutes in that Liquid was able to ensure, but yeah, with the kill and the runes, it swings the way of LGD. Same for the experience.
Currently 4 wards on the courier for LGD. Flying out. Might drop them on FY here and let him make a little bit of a movement with smoke. They're not going to smoke. Maybe yes, maybe no. Nope, not smoking.
I was actually wondering about the movement from LGD. Like, how confident are you that you don't need to really stay on top of Weeha? He's been pulling back. Like, he had 1 stack that he was able to farm up. They're now prepping another set for him, but Weeha, we saw what he did yesterday. It was global presence, an uncatchable global presence.
In this game, it's catchable.
Look at him go. Gyro's just moving over. It's like, wait, I'm fairly certain there was meant to be a Tinker here, but Tinker's moved back to the mid lane.
Good defensive ward from Kuro, placed there on the around the top rune. So they do realize the movement's coming and they back out. But Somnus still has haste for a little bit. Okay, I thought he was maybe even thinking about diving, but he's gonna try to get denies. We'll get a couple by the looks of it.
Means Kuro's going to protect the stacks now, keeping the ET away, and puts a 1-1 lane up on top.
But yeah, I'm not sure how much you have to invade the Tinker here. You don't want to give him complete free farm, but considering he's already been solo killed by maybe mid, we've already slowed him down that good amount. And if you let him farm some jungle, in comparison to the game we saw from him yesterday on Tinker, this time he has just flat out has a worse matchup. Spectre is one of the classic hard counters to Tinker. Can always find him and get on top of him. And if Spectre finds Tinker, you can follow up. That's the whole power of this lineup. You have Stampede to get heroes in range. You have the Elder Titan Spirit that can get on top of Tinker as well and stomp him. Just plenty of problems this game for Weeha, even if he has a good game.
Great vision being planted down by Kuro. You said defensive ward that was able to protect the Tinker from being ganked up by the Somnus rotation. Now his observed ward watches FY coming to the mid. It won't see the smoke of X-Nova as well as Somnus, as once again they move in.
You want to get Miracle. Stampede is coming online. This is the perfect timing for this move. And they're also going to use the opportunity to place a deep lane ward top, but it looks like Miracle realizes something's fishy here.
GH is coming around the back lines. Miracle has Chronosphere available. X-Nova, but on the wrong side of the tracks. The arrow will connect. Miracle just needs a couple of hits. And down goes X-Nova. They back out of the fight. Somnus is already back over in mid lane, where FY is trying to get his level 6.
They're probably going to be anticipating that some vision must have been placed by LGD here when they smoke the ET and the Gyro in together, but they have no idea which ward it is. There's multiple pings coming out from Liquid. Is it this one? Is it this one? They might check the real one last.
They're going top. Invis rune from Somnus wants to go to work. Miracle just time walks himself away. Somnus will see this, but coming into the tier 1 tower isn't something they want to do. As Weeha can now finally take these stacks with rearm and a level 3 march to the machines. To start to move his net worth up the field. He was the only, well, there's 3 heroes above 3k and he wants to join them, just able to do so.
And Liquid are going to give Kuro some space mid, and FY is going to take space from LGD. Both supports looking to get these levels. And this is the danger when you play these tri-lanes in the start, even if it was only for 3 or 4 minutes. Kuro's level 3 minute 9. GH is level 5.5, so that's good. But on LGD's side, it's kind of similar. X-Nova has mainly been stacking and moving around towards, so also pretty low on those levels. Whereas FY is looking at a level 6 in mid, so pretty even across the board overall on levels.
That's a lot of stacks they're prepared inside the jungle. Have they got enough to clear through this with Ame?
I'm gonna say no.
With 2 points dispersion, there's only, like, the second point in flat cannon just came into Somnus too. Dangerous prospect to leave that up if, like, Weeha would even feel remotely confident to move across the river. But Ame will get through one of them.
Yeah, there's no way Weeha comes over here. If anybody does, it's the Tiny of Mind Control that could walk up and try to steal some of it. But looks like Ame can at least farm the medium camp double stack, so that's nice for him. The hard camp double stack will kill him right now, but he might stack it one more time before the 10-minute mark, maybe stick around for the shrine, but no, he's going to go all the way back to base. Maybe try to get ready to haunt for the runes, but he's actually late for that. So I think LGD will be settling for a 2-for-2 rune trade this time around instead of the 4-0 they got last time.
Yeah, unless Mind Control wants to
contest
it. He's looking for the avalanche. That'll create the space. X-Nova, however, still was able to pick up the bounty rune. Mind Control will get one of the charges from the bounty in bottom. His top lane's just been sitting on the edge. FY, he's looking for a nice deal. Starfall from GH will be the thing he can grab right now.
Nope. I'll take it. It's good for farming. He already has his first wave clear spell stolen now, so he can push out waves really quickly if he wants to. Does a lot of spell damage in order to get solo kills together, or well, not solo kills in that case, but combo kills together with Centaur, where he does the majority of the damage from Rubik. Now the Moonlight Shadow Liquid. They want to try to make a move, but look at how insanely good vision LGD have. All these 5 wards planted defensively, and they do see GH fading into invisibility. So they know exactly where Liquid are moving up. Gonna move into the dire jungle. But LGD have nobody there.
They're going to try and be a little bit sly about it, leaving the Observer Ward, but doesn't work with the ganks. So they get rid of the Obs. Their vision is starting to time out, so fresh ones must be planted. The 2 Observer Wards that Liquid planted around that 6-minute mark are now starting to decay. So they've only got 1 Observer Ward watching near the bottom rune area. Meanwhile, LGDs are still behind between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 towers in mid and top lane.
Yeah, somebody's got to come and defend mid. LGD are just letting GH and Kuro, the 2 supports.
With Catapult Wave.
Half a tower with the Catapult, almost a full one by now, and finally FY shows up. They were so scared of a rotation because of the Moonlight Shadow, I think, that Liquid used earlier, that other Liquid heroes were in the neighborhood, but not the case. And they do defend the tower, but man, I think Kuro is going to be very happy with that. Going 2 supports mid and almost getting a full Tier 1 11 minutes in. That's very nice.
Yeah. Wonder what LGD were like prioritizing for elsewhere. Now level 8 is up, so he's still only like, because we just throw everything into that tree throw. It's only a 2-1 combination with the Avalanche toss. It's not that instant kill you kind of look for, but Arme's returned to the lane. They'll keep my control away from the tower. Trying to go for this Hand of Midas build on the spec. Understanding late game is the game for LGD.
Mid lane into Arrow.
Yeah, there's that combination. FY can't stand against it. Now ET and Somnus looking for their fight as well on mind control. He'll give it his Avalanche toss once again, but 3 heroes together. Nowhere to get out, 2 of them being the cause for LGD.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And we haven't talked about Amis' plans for items here. He's going to go the Midas that has become popular in Spectre in the last year. In the past, you would never see this item. You would always go either a Manta Diffusal build or a Radiance build, sometimes with an optional drum or optional upgraded boots on the way. As for Miracle, he has a different farming item. He's going the Maelstrom on Void, ramping up that farm nicely as well. It's a different approach. But both heroes very happy with getting these items around these timings that they've got them. Spectre clearly behind that of the Void, 1,500 gold as a matter of fact.
And they're really going on bottom lane with Stampede. Chalice able to bring down Miracle. Miracle probably feeling confident enough that he could have just stomped himself away, but Chalice's damage really took him by surprise.
That was very unexpected. Chalice's top net worth. He was 0-3, remember? He actually got killed 3 times at the start of the game in his own.
And now he's the first person to crack 6,000 in the net worth.
He has recovered in a big way, and that shows, you know, when you see players like this, there are some players that get killed multiple times in lane and they get frustrated and they tilt and they lose control of the game. Chalice is just ice cold. Being able to recover like this when you get so focused is just world class.
LGD will make the most of the space. Getting that last bit of farm into the Gyrocopter. Still trying to get Somnus towards that BKB of his. As long as he doesn't die towards the creeps, he'll be absolutely fine. Team Liquid adding pressure towards the mid. GH will claim that Tier 1 tower.
Important that GH actually got an attack off there. That would have been a deny by FY. GH secures it. Closing in on Force Staff. His go-to build on Mirana this tournament has been Force Staff into Lotus, I think.
Chrono, here we go. Over on next Nova. The arrow will be able to connect. Miracle. It was kind of already a pretty assured kill, but he had to Chrono because Kuro wasn't in range for the disruption.
That's kind of a low-value Chrono, though. Especially right before the bounty runes. LGD, if they were ready for it, could maybe even have chosen to try to fight here. But their heroes are not able to connect top in time, so they will grab the 2 bottom runes. But absolutely defend their
disruption
now, I think.
Here we go again. They're trying to come in with the Avalanche. Quick toss up. Miracle's moving over. But Spectre's already dead before he can arrive. Mind control now. That's a good value kill. And while all this is going on, Weeha's getting more and more farm. Once he gets the Blink Dagger, these side lanes, they're a lot more playable for Weeha. Probably going to be better once Spectral Horn is down, however.
Yeah, he's progressing pretty well as well. And this Amadith is big. It actually might lose them the top tower because I think LGD might have wanted to defend this tower since there's no Chronosphere and they have really strong timing with the Centaur Dagger. But at this point, with Ahmed dying like this and losing control of the area, they're just gonna leave it alone, keep pressuring bottom, see how much they can get.
I'm loving the way they approach the towers too. X-Nova's like, I need to check the trees. Spirit in there every single time, making sure there's no hidden tinker, there's no heavy marching machines, even a quick sentry ward being dropped down. No invis runes, no shenanigans. Kuro, Charles just jumps in. Mind Control just gets the back line. The arrow flies forward. It won't hit onto the hero, however. This will be LGD under the tier 2 tower with the ET splitter killing off Mind Control. And they found Weeha in the tree line. X-Nova, he's still staying close with the Stampede. They try and get closer. The face is void. They throw him back, at least get the one-man stop. But Miracle chasing down X-Nova inside the trees. FY is nearby. He actually stole rearm out of all of this. And he'll just TP away to safety.
He can rearm and TP back out.
FY gets as close to Tinker as he possibly can.
Why is he not rearmed?
That's a very good question.
Maybe didn't think about it?
It's like, oh wait, does this work on TP scrolls? Yeah. Either way, LGD. That's the first real encounter we've had from the teams, apart from just these pickoffs moving from one lane to the other. Took about 16 minutes for it to happen, and the tier 2 tower almost died for it. But Liquid, it looks like they're ready to fight once more. Chronosphere is up. The Blink Dagger's on the Tiny for his initiation. Kuro also needs to get a ward mission out. He's got 5 Observer wards, just planted 1 down now. This is a full ward mission from Team Liquid.
And they're hoping to find a core as well. They might walk into army. They will.
Here we go. Avalanche toss to begin with. Jumping forward with the Starfall. They have the damage. Spectral Halt was down. There was no escaping. Weeha moving into the tree line away from X-Nova's stomp.
Hasted and Moonlight Shadow. That's a really hard hero to kill, and he'll get out easily.
I love where they're waiting. Like Charles and X-Nova in the tree lines. They're sitting inside the trees where we've seen Weeha yesterday blink to move up the lane and get more March the Machines down the wave. But this time around, Weeha moves back to the mid lane.
These 2 kills on Spectre that Liquid have found are super important for them. Ame has... I think the second kill is more forgivable because there was an aggressive smoke into his supposedly safe part of the jungle. But the first one at the top tier 1 tower, I think he felt a little bit bad about that one because it was a relatively easy read mid lane.
Here we go again. Avalanche. It's going to be off target. Only drop charges from Somnus to trigger. He's going to use him to get aggressive on mind control. The homing missiles coming in as Weeha puts down the cover fire. If LGD want to come in, they're coming in double wave from March Machines. Miracle. He has to time walk himself away. Defensive disruption. Kuro able to save him from the ET splitter while mind control gets up from the high ground, removes that aggressive vision that FI was trying to get down, so LGD had some information for this fight. And they're ready to go again. Mind control. We have seen Tiny time and time again clear a wave, get that tossed back, and force whatever team into a horrible position for a fight.
And a rare miss from GH. If that arrow hits, that should just have been a flat-out kill on Gyro, but mistakes do happen.
It's like, I don't know exactly where Kuro is going to walk. It's like it was a toss back to a target.
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky to land these. Liquid have done an excellent job lately in the lower bracket with hitting difficult spell combos and having really good timing with, for example, their Darkseers. But that one did not work out. There's more and more time being bought for this Spectre. You have to remember this is a Spectre that went Midas first item. So even though Spectre is this almost 2,000 gold behind Void, net worth on Spectre is insanely valuable. If you get later on in the game and he's still 2k behind the Void in 5 or 10 minutes, this gold just transforms into so much damage and tankability in the fights. And vision even, with the Haunt.
Charles has claimed the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. Liquid, as you said, like there's a lot of time wasted by LGD looking for these fights from Liquid. They're actually looking at Mind Control, who grabbed the Invis rune, so FY was just stalking him in the mid lane, but it never came. And what happened? Once again, Centaur, not part of a team fight. He's down on the bottom lane, pushing it out, at least claiming the gold, and this will allow also the bounty runes to go a 2-2 split. Centaur's getting bigger and bigger. Now a Vanguard completed, already got the pipe, and the Crimson's on its way.
And they're going to smoke out. S3 behind Somnus, looks like trying to set up a bait. He's going to run up to the high ground and get caught on purpose, but...
Well, Avalanche toss actually sending him back inside the banishment. Not exactly what they wanted, but the 5-second arrow will connect on Somnus. But this just allows Liquid to disengage, or does it? Stampede forward, Moonlight Shadow now burned by Team Liquid. As they turn around to come back once more. Miracle adds Chronosphere up. And they're looking for a target. They find the other Titan, perch him up with the time locks. My lord, that damage. They didn't have to burn the Chronosphere, but Mind Control, Avalanche toss, FY too far away, he's actually all the time on Miracle. Miracle! He gets a double chronosphere. Charles and Rubik both caught in it. Somers needs to create a little bit more space with the call-out. He might be able to do so. Miracle. Time walks back up cooldown once again. Spectral Horn jumping around. Uzi focusing on. He looked for his target, but the time walk away got Miracle away to safety. But Somers can at least reach over towards Kuro with that flat cannon. Arrow, Charles, he doesn't care. Walks straight in front of him. But LGD, commitment did come in from Rubik to buy back for that fight.
Yep. I think you're pretty happy with that as Liquid. LGD tried to smoke into you. You repelled them. They tried to chase further. You turn around, get 2 kills and buyback forced. It's not the end of the world for LGD, of course. It was the Rubik buyback and not that of a core.
Here we go. That's how fast X-Nova died. I don't even think that was a full second.
And the LGD from the BKB from Somnus as well, being used in that. So that's a 10-second charge to only kill off the Shadow Demon.
You can see the way Team Liquid played it though. Like, okay, Kuro died, but Somnus went through that entire 10-second BKB, and like, what do you get from it? Like, how does LGD keep them in position? Spectre jumps in, like, are you cleaning off the backlines? Are you focusing down the Tinker? Tinker didn't even really feel like he had an influence in that fight.
No. When Ame came in, they had used their stuns and their initiation already. Ideally, what LGD's lineup wants to do is to be the initiators and just jump in and start the fight, and then you haunt, get vision, and play the fight according to your vision. But when it's Liquid with the high ground advantage, when it's Liquid with the Moonlight Shadow, it makes it a lot harder to use these spells correctly and find the targets you're looking for.
Here we go again.
Lane.
Avalanche toss, here's your BKB. There's the 9-second one down, but mind control. He may be the sacrifice. Kuro's going to give him a little bit of extra time with the disruption. He can't flick himself away from this, and mind control will fall. The Purge, any kind of disruption, not able to do it. Now Stampede in. Chalice, they're looking towards Kuro. 2 of them together. They can't break free. Kuro, he definitely is the sacrifice. He can throw out at least a catcher. But then look towards mid as Weeha jumping after Ame. Rearm, does he want to keep the pressure on? No, he doesn't. Just control the mid lane. He's down 2 heroes, and this is where Liquid got a lot of strength last time they played the Tinker on this main stage. They bought time. Even when a fight doesn't go their way, instantly Weeha's pressuring the other lanes.
And that's why the Spectre pick is so important, because are you actually buying time for a win condition in this game? Is this favoring you to play like this?
It kind of feels like it when you've got the Tiny and the Void together. Like the volley into Chronospeed, you can still win those high ground fights.
The volley might be the X factor in this game, because if you look at these lineups from before the new Ags, I would say Dire going late game, they will be happy to do so against this team. But with all this new damage coming out from Tiny, it could be better for Liquid. I'm just a bit concerned that, yeah, sure, I mean, you're delaying the game, but you're also not taking any towers. You're not putting additional pressure on the map, because neither lineup has very good sieging whatsoever. Both teams have taken 2 towers only 24 minutes in. They can't really Roche, because both lineups are also pretty bad at that. So it's kind of just this farming game. And farming games historically are just so good for Spectre.
Yep.
Maybe Silver Edge can be a solution later. That could be something they can work around it with. But for now, I think LGD are pretty happy with their situation. So is Dota Plus, giving them 3-1, actually. Dota Plus loves Spectre.
Of course it would.
So,
but it doesn't know what we know as well. But this new combination that's just been wrecking the main stage and a little bit of the group stage of TI9. Charles is looking to try and fight, but that is not the target they want. 2.6k, they're actually going to stampede. They're not finding a target, however. All of Liquid's back. In fact, you've got Mind Control pushing in the top lane. Kuro is continuously de-warding the LGD primary jungle. And the Centaur Illusions are watching Roshan. That's it. No one else is close to any other objectives on the map.
And it's an even boundary and trade again.
And it feels like there's so much pressure on Team Liquid to hit that fantastic Chronosphere or always control the side lanes.
It's true. I think compared to other Void games we've seen from Liquid, there's a lot of pressure on Miracle in this game. I think just getting a good one hero chrono is not going to cut it in this game. Even if you chrono the gyro or whatever, the response LGD have later, I think it's just too overpowering. Even if you kill one core with the chrono, if they have a buyback, they can run you down with Stampede and Haunt, and you end up not getting a favorable fight.
Do you even pop the Stampede during the Chronosphere once the Aghanim Scepter? Because the Aghanim Scepter is coming quickly. It's what's that, 2100 away? from being completed on the Centaur.
You do that for Gyro. I don't know if you do it for anyone else. You might not even do it for Spectre, just because Spectre can buy back haunts and then you can run people down. It was one of the integral parts of OG's victory last year when they played their Spectre lineups. They just took advantage of Ana's ability to tank a lot of damage on his carry, and then if he does get killed, he can buy back and come back in. And you can't ignore that factor from the Spectre in fights. Spellsteal coming out.
He's got Time Walk again. That's a good initiation. As we saw her escape from FY before.
Man, look how confident Chalice is. Maybe a bit too much here.
Disruption, catcher, the arrow is going to connect as well. Perfect stun. They're going to force off him down. That's FY hanging in the neighborhood of Miracle. It's a double Chronosphere. Mind Control running with the Avalanche, but he's walked inside the Chronosphere. He's done himself up, and maybe they don't have the damage anymore. And Somnus is in the back line. He'll end up killing Okura, the first casualty of this team fight. And the Chronosphere stolen. Of course it is. FY playing around Weeha. He caught the big man. And maybe with the Avalanche touch from Mind Control, Charles and Somnus in some trouble. Tinker gonna buy back into this fight. He knows he needs to do some more damage. Charles is still trying to go ham against Mind Control. Mind Control doesn't have the life for this. Maybe with a toss-up, he can push Chalice away. But where is this control? You bought back Weeha, but they can't stay on top of him. LGD are all getting out of here.
They only got Somnus for that Weeha buyback.
They have to take Roshan now. They're going straight in for it. Gyro is down for 50 seconds. Mind Control's going to regen on the Shrine with GH, but Miracle, he's starting this up.
Elder Titan is spawned. He's going to go scout it out. There is no way Liquid get this. They don't have the damage. When this Elder Titan Spirit starts countering them out,
they're giving it a shot. They have the 30-second window. Time Walk away. Miracle, he'll dodge the stomp. Arme's throwing out the dagger, and now hoofs on forward, a 4-star from GH trying to get Kuro away to safety. He's in close. Miracle trying to storm down with a time dilation, but Kuro's already gone down. LGD's arrived, but man, Miracle's done all the hard work for him. Now Roshan, he has to be contested by LGD.
That's really bad news for Liquid. They don't have Chrono for this fight. Good arrow.
5 seconds on the arrow. It's going to maybe make LGD think twice. They need Tinker behind to put down martial machines inside the pit. They need some cover fire to dissuade LGD from being here. Mind Control, he'll go for the avalanche shot. He didn't have information of the Roshan. He thought it was probably a lot lower. Arrow, 5 seconds again, over on Chalice. Mind Control, another quick toss. He's got to get out there. There's those martial machines for Roshan. Miracle's jump back in again. Roshan, he goes to the radium. Miracle has the Aegis, the Immortal. Now trying to battle head to head with Somnus. That BKB in such a low duration. Miracle keeps getting time lock after time lock. He is the master of time. And they arrow another 5 seconds. They just keep on coming. Mind Control hits the Avalanche Centaur. The Stampede on 80 AP. He'll go up the hill and blink towards the Shrine. LGD, they're disengaging, but they want more. Weeha, he's blinked the top of the Shrine. The chainsaws are going to be there. They're in range of the Sentry Wall. That's why they can see them inside the Moonlight Shadow FY. He tries to hit this entire team all by himself. Miracle has to stop the clock, but the Aegis will pop. So will Weeha's life. It's a timeout from him. Gianna go down to FY. FY total gone. He is just dominating this game.
The presence of mind in that moment to steal Avalanche and catch 2 heroes, one of which was the Miracle Void going for the Chrono on Mind Control. He went too far.
He just tried to push the lane out. He tried to create space. And LGD, they get a bonus in their gift bag.
From one insane play to the other, the Miracle Roche steal to begin with, jumping in with a BKB. He not only got the Aegis, he got the kill on Roche too. Then they keep chasing up, and FY with a huge defensive play. And you're going to see the start of it here. And the arrows from GH, if just one of these arrows miss, it's a totally different situation. But this is the opening for Miracle. Gets the kill, gets the Aegis. Does not have the Chrono yet, though. That's why Somnus will eventually get away from this and reset up to the Shrine. The 4-step from FY, buying the space into Stomp. That's the first arrow. Maybe if Miracle focused on the Centaur a little bit earlier, they could have got Chalice here. He ends up resetting too. And Weeha wants to go for that chase, doesn't find him. He rearms and blinks up. And that's the start of a disaster. Weeha going greedy here, blinking into the Shrine. Sets up for a long fight where Liquid have to come in and help. And this Avalanche steal right here, huge. Just as the Chrono comes out. I mean, it's also nice that Miracle Chrono'd the Tinker for him. I'm not gonna blame. Not gonna complain about that, FY.
I'm gonna come back to real life right now as Kuro dead again. Arme looking to bounce around the map on the back of that Spectral Haunt. Maybe a little bit sad he only was able to pick up the SD. But you talk about that net worth increase on the Spectre. He's going to be a little happier moving towards that heart. Centaur is by far. Chalice was the one. He was total trash. He was thrown out. He was a rejected Centaur. He is now 16,300 worth of net worth in this Centaur. Stampede, Crimson and Pipe. It's the disengage, it's the sustain, it's what's allowing LGD to do what they're doing and allowing FY to just be ballsy as hell.
He might be the first trash of the main event that Liquid can take out. Actually struggling a lot in this game. And their chances, they're dwindling by the minute. The advantage is becoming way too overwhelming. How many Spectre games have we seen like this in the history of the International? When teams get this kind of a lead with Spectre, I don't even want to know what the win rate is. It's got to be absurd. So Liquid, they need to find some crazy chronos. They need to get a Silver Edge probably to deal with him later on. Or an Aghanim Scepter on Shadow Demon would also be nice to get those breaks off. Perhaps the third Roshan, if it has that, when we get to that stage, if we get to that stage.
We have the Ags on Tiny though, so Liquid can focus on the simple combinations. The Faceless Void Chronosphere into the tree toss of Mind Control, and actually having Weeha doing some damage. Like, obviously, we knew he was going to blink forward. If there was one thing we took from Weeha's games yesterday, it was this brash confidence of youth that he just wanted to jump in there every single time. You push it, and the rest of Liquid come with him. The same kind of way that Anna does it for OG, but in that part of the fight, like, yeah, Miracle could not find the perfect chrono.
Don't click Spectre yet. How much health do you think it has?
I'm going to go like 3.5. Just feeling that.
3,720 health
Close.
with the dispersion.
It's almost the price is right.
You can chrono this Spectre and have Tiny and Tinker do everything perfectly, and Ame still doesn't die. You need Soul Catcher. So Kuro has to be involved in these plays to kill off the Spec. I know I'm talking about the Spectre a lot, but I just feel like the hero, whenever it's in a game like this, it just deserves so much attention with how the games and generally play out. And even though he didn't have the perfect start, Ame's in a great spot right now. Worth highlighting too, Somnus went Dagger on Gyro. The idea here is you haunt, and the moment you see Tinker, he's going to jump straight on top of him with this Gyro and blow him up. Weeha, until he has this BKB, which he can afford now, but then not have buyback, will just get blown up by Gyro. He's going to solo him if he gets vision. So plenty of problems to solve here for Liquid.
They have damage issues. It's able to penetrate the resistance of LGD. They have the inability to do full global. Xnova is actually just camping in the trees in the bottom lane. He's put down a Tinker, both a server and a sentry wall. There's no shenanigans. The BKB has arrived now for Weeha. And here's the TP forward. Xnova, he knows Weeha's here. It's the same type of movement that Weeha's done time and time again on his Tinker. Up the trees, push the wave. And LGD smoked up, but they're not ready to go just yet. It feels like Xnova's not enough to work with the Spectre just to get that straight up kill.
They might have gone for it if Weeha didn't have BKB. But I think Xnova clicked Weeha when he came in. He called the BKB out. If you haunt for that, Weeha's going to BKB TP out. Oh, maybe he's still hunting for him here.
They're looking for Tiny. He's tree tossing from the trees, but he blinks into the wave. Homing Missile chasing Mind Control, and maybe with a hook stop, and they stampede forward. Homing Missile will connect. And Tiny, well, FY stole Tree Volley. It's not the greatest thing to steal from Rubik.
He's trying. They didn't get him. Weeha outplaying him there and getting away. But you can clearly see what the game plan is. Xnova, you're hunting Tinker. We go as a 3-man unit and hunt somebody else, and Spectre farm. You can connect with either of the plays that we find on the map. And Liquid's game plan is let's not fight. They are.
I think they might.
So far, they've just been avoiding moves for a couple of minutes now with Chrono ready. They just don't want to take these fights. They don't feel favored.
They see Centaur in the bottom lane. The arrow's going to fly just shy of Somnus, but the Chrono Miracle! Called for a moment. It was going to be a second too late.
Well, at least he didn't cast it.
They cannot afford to have such a huge ability go on cooldown. Even though it's a 2-minute cooldown, he's not going the Ags. It's a Satanic style build for Miracle. But he's got a long way to jump with that plus 500 time walk cast range. They're able to get that initiation. The question is always, though, can the rest of Liquid keep up with him? I don't think he'll actually need that long cast range in a bit because LGD, how long is it until they want to come high ground? I keep my eye on Roshan. He may respawn in about a minute.
Yeah, they're definitely not high grounding without Nagus. And I think they might give it to Gyro, honestly. Even though Spectre is the centerpiece of the lineup toward the later portions of the game, having an Aegis on Gyro Spectre can always buy back and haunt back in, and Gyro can then start sieging the base as well with the Aghanims coming up as his next item.
Yeah, how weird is it to actually see that coming up as like your, well, it's your third major item outside the blink of the drums.
Yeah, exactly. This feels like the first Gyro game we've seen at the main event where he does not go Aghs just like first main item. Maybe you'll get a drum first, but then we've seen Aghs pretty much every single game. But Somnus adapting to the game, prioritized getting the early BKB, feeling like that was going to be a timing for Liquid that he had to be able to get them across so they could get to the state in the game. It's been excellent choice. His BKB has actually been extremely important when you've looked at how these team fights have gone. He would not have done the same with an Aghs.
The time is about to come up on Roshan, and it's 144.
5.2k health.
My lord.
5.2k health, Pipe Magic Resistance, Crimson Guard Physical Reduction.
And then he's going to go Shiva on top of that, and he's already cut himself, what was that, 8 plus 15 armor?
Well, the good news is...
he's in range of blast.
Soul Capture deals 2,000 damage now on him.
That's terrific, and maybe if you can kill him, you can even get yourself an illusion of him, and he can fight against you.
Yep.
That was the one thing. Kuro, even though he's like he's been ripped on levels. He's the lowest level of the field. Still's like, nope, I'm going to get an illusion out of this. I'm going to put a catcher down. We're going to find kills. Moonlight Shadow once again. Miracle just wants to initiate. They have a great observer and sentry down. They see Somnus. They see a huge target as well. Oh, no, they see nothing anymore. They'll have to go towards the top lane. Great mana style, time dilation, army, Stampede will get him away. And the rest of LGD, they're thinking if they want to fight. The arrow was thrown out by GH for a little bit of a quick scout, and they still know they're in the trees. But look at this presence from LG. They understand they need to get the vision. Here we go. Miracle. He jumps in. Homing missile's going to come his way. He's going to BKB instantly. F5. Going to jump himself away as quick as he possibly can with the time walk stall. And he just moves away from the BKB. Miracle and the hostile catching Kuro on the backline with the spectral haunt. Kuro instantly explodes. Mind control GH want to get the hell out of here. Miracle is now the time to actually Chronosphere. The homing missiles are coming in. They're surrounded on all sides, trying to TP away to safety. Tiny's waiting this one out. Inside the pocket ball, the Starfall will come down. Mind control, cancel on the TP because F5 gets in range for the telekinesis grab. They've already taken GH. Mind control will do as much damage as he can before death. But LGD, they were the ones meant to be initiated on that fight, but Liquid, they never saw the opportunity, or they never wanted to take it.
They found the worst possible target. They found an Elder Titan completely on his own. They can't...
Somnus! He's gonna go down! Miracle trying to chrono to save his life! Somnus protected by the BKB! Miracle needs lock, and he'll bring down Somnus! A huge streak to end!
100 gold!
He's rich! He's glorious!
His top net worth now.
He at least buys the Aghanim Scepter so he doesn't lose any money, but LGD are taking Roshan. What have you even got, team? They can't contest this. Mirana might be able to TP out the Shrine Throw an arrow, but it's already too late. Roshan at 1,500, now 0. It's all LGD, and FY! He jumps up, he goes towards GH. Sentry Wolf's vision, they have done. GH is going to go down for a minute. Miracle, he's jumped forward towards the front line too. He's looking for a kill of his own, but what's he got? FY! He actually just turns them around. Miracle triggers the Shrine. BKB TP to way to safety. Kuro, he does not want to die again. 8 is enough for the moment, but I think it might be a 9. He's moving back towards the base. Mind control needs to create a little bit of extra space as LGD think about coming up. Chalice, he won't just think about it. He'll do it now with the volley. Chalice, we'll see how much he can tank or tank. A hell of a lot. Sleep actually put him down. There was no volley. A double hookster, a double edge, and they'll just keep going ham underneath the tier 3s towards the tier 4s. If they kill the Void, he'll have to fight back. If they want to defend this top leader Brax, Liquid, they're on the burning ropes right now. Weehar is doing everything he can to slow down this push. But LGD, they look like immortals. The thing they really want to claim to.
Looks like Liquid are just going to concede these barracks. This Void buyback is way too important. It's more important than the barracks. There's no mid lane for them to take yet because the tier 2 is still there.
They're trying.
So LGD will back.
Okay. Avalanche, can they toss him back over? There's already a pickup. FY's got the range, he's got the arrow, and mind control connected on all fronts. And when the hostile GH jumps in a little too deep, the laser couldn't protect him. Chalice finds that kill. 5.3k HP on this Centaur.
This
It's that point when cheese actually isn't a good thing to have on a Centaur because it doesn't do enough.
It's still better on him than the Spectre because of the Aegis, but he might pass over the cheese to Somnus. It's a possible play to swap that over instead of the drum. They're going to do exactly that.
And Team Liquid are giving everything they've got, but LGD is just really starting to work for them. Well, I say really starting to. It's been working for a while for them. The golden experience graph ever since the 20-minute mark, it was so close. And everything is LGD's way. Charles, his team is so far away from him. FY's back at the tier 2 tower. And Charles is like, it's fine.
Hey, you want an arrow? Here's an arrow for Somnus. Charles is going to dodge it, so it hits the gyro in the back. But yeah, Liquid, you got to play for your high ground now. I think any fight taken outside of base is inherently unfavorable right now. There's Aegis and cheese, there's buybacks.
Spectre goes for the bottom lane. Kuro is getting himself a copy. Toss under the tier 4 towers, but it's Chalice. He's in so deep. The Stampede being used defensively. The lasers and rockets, any kind of spam they can get from range. Can they get another pickup? Mind Control tosses off cooldown right now. The arrow flies forward. It won't connect on anybody. They're all a little bit too short. It's the high ground defense. Kind of difficult for Mind Control. There's not a lot of trees to use inside your base unless you're playing on the side lanes.
Yep. It's very, very true. And that is problematic. Any fight around the mid lane makes tree volley almost impossible for him to use inside the base. Top, bottom, there's more options because you have the tree line in the bottom of the map. I want to point out too how LGD are playing the map. They're playing this really aggressive 4-man bottom. The Centaur was semi-diving mid and got kind of caught when he got tossed, and then he still gets out with Stampede. The whole time, Somnus is farming jungle. They know they have this complete grip on the map. They're just maximizing profits.
That's a good interest rate. LGD taking forever. Like, okay, Ame is, come on, man. Like, he needs a little bit of extra help here. It's only a minute and a half to bring down the Shrine. Tink is pushing out the lanes in the meantime.